And we're down to the final four. The four opposition senators will be presented with their instruments of appointment here at Government House as we round out what our Senate complement will look like. I'm Anthea Ferguson, and a welcome to the broadcast. Coming to you once again for the third planned event here at Government House. Today, we expect Arinthia Komalafe, Rick Fox, Dr. Trevor Johnson, and Ellsworth Johnson to receive their instruments to join the upper chamber. They will, of course, join the 12 senators who have already received their instruments early today and last week. Once again, on the broadcast with me is our Corwell Pyfrom, who stands by now with a guest.
Good afternoon, Anthea, and it is, of course, great to be with you once again for our afternoon session of what's been our marathon of these swearing in or appointments or, I guess, receiving of instruments. Joining me is, well, we used to refer to him as a rising star when he was a bit younger, but he's in there, worked hard for the party, Jason Brennan. Describe for me this group this afternoon that we're going to witness receive their instruments of appointment as senators.
Well, I found out at the same time as most of the folks back at home, but I'm excited about this group. I think that you have a good combination of experience and level-headedness. You have some political veterans, even though those veterans may not have been in government for some time or even at all. And then you also have a member of the orange economy, a basketball star in Rick Fox, as well as a bright up-and-coming mind, someone I'm very excited to see his contributions, Dr. Trevor Johnson. I think it's a well-rounded group.
And you know what? You're not dismayed at all by this recent loss. You feel as though there's still light at the end of the tunnel.
In politics, you win some, you lose some, but you pick yourself up and you fight another day. So I think the Free National Movement is already demonstrating, particularly with these appointments, that there is more to do and that there are more voices that you can hear from. And I'm excited for them, really.
Not a rising star because he's a shining star. Good. Thanks for being with us, Jason. Good talking to you as always. Back to you, Anthea.
Thank you so much for that, Corvell. And joining me on this afternoon's broadcast, I have the National Vice Chair of the FNM and someone who was a contender in that Pinewood constituency race in these last elections, Denari Roll.
Good afternoon, Bahamas.
And I would be remiss to say, if I didn't say, we used to shoot marbles together, we used to go to church together, we grew up together. So happy to see you once again.
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure to be in your company, you know, and the town is small, and so it's world come full circle.
Yes.
You know, we had potential from young, and to see where God has brought us is absolutely amazing. So definitely a pleasure to be in your company today to see what we have excited and lined up for this afternoon.
And I want to piggyback on a question Corvell just asked Jace about the loss, right? Yeah. The party seems to be moving forward, chugging along, even in the face of the loss. How do you feel? What's been going on in your camp since May 12th?
Well, you know, since the election, you know, the goal was to win, right? Everybody was excited and wanted to get rid of this government. I don't think we were expecting the headline, but clearly we have a lot of work to do. When you have honorable men, they call them, sitting in our parliament now and orchestrating drug deals. That's the first headline we have after we have all of these installations happening. It goes to show the state of the country. It's sad. And so the FNM definitely is going to get busy. It's going to be very, very busy as opposition. We have a lot of work to do. You get appointment, you're a minister, I'm a minister, she's a minister, he's a minister. Clearly this government is free for all right now. Everybody is a lot of chiefs, no Indian, and so that means to say I don't think the pushback, they don't intend to get much pushback from the executive level, so the opposition has a lot of work to do. We have to hold their feet to the fire. The Bahamian people deserve better. You look, a lot of the population of the country did not come home. Did not come out to vote. They stayed home, and that's another sticking point for us as the FNM. We have to take, you know, some time to reflect, look at ourselves, deal with our internal issues, because the message clearly is not resonating. And so from that front, you know, the emotions were high. A lot of people are sad. A lot of people feel saddened by it. But we're up to the task. Today is the start of that rebuild. As you can see, we exposed good confidence in our leader, despite what the naysayers say. We have confidence in him to carry us until the next convention. And we're going to do the necessary work that is needed to turn it around. So we may be down, but we're not out. And definitely moving forward, we're going to hold this government to account.
A lot of questions I have from what you just said. We're going to take a break right now and toss it to a quick package we put together to teach you about the role of the Senate.
The Senate in the Bahamas is the upper house of Parliament, working alongside the House of Assembly to review, debate, and pass laws. The Senate is made up of 16 appointed members, 9 of them appointed on the advice of the Prime Minister. 4 are presented by the Leader of the Opposition, and 3 senators are appointed on the advice of the Prime Minister following consultation. The structure is designed to allow representation from both the government and opposition, while also giving space for independent or non-political voices. Senators review bills passed by the House of Assembly, debate national issues, suggest amendments to the legislation, and approve or reject bills. The Senate is led by a president who presides over debates and maintains order. The vice president of the Senate would assist and act in the president's absence. Unlike members of the parliament, senators are not elected by the public or voters, but are instead appointed.
All right, thank you so much for that. Back here with Denari Roll, National Vice Chair of the FNM. Now, you talked a lot just now about the work that your party has to do coming out of the recent general elections, but your party has also been criticized, right, for not being more of a vibrant opposition.
Yes.
What can we expect from the FNM heading into the next 5 years?
Well, I mean, honestly, I would say, like you say, a lot of people wanted a little more fire. They felt like our message was a little bit flat. They wasn't sure if we were serious about the work that we will be doing for them. But I said as a part of that team, and one thing I believe in is that being the change you wish to see. That's one of my favorite quotes from Mahatma Gandhi, and I'm going to be one of them that you see championing the cause of accountability. It's easy to, you know, the PLP is on a 2-straight, their momentum is high, and so it's easy to say, oh, you could lay down there and just join the winning team or just let them do as they see fit. But this is where real leaders are made. This is where you hold yourself accountable and then you pass that on. And so I, as a young person sitting as a national vice chairman, I'm going to definitely be doing the work. I offer myself to stand up and take the accountability. I want to be one of those that leads the change that we need to see. And like you say, standing and fighting on the Bahamian people's part. Where do we got to get a little bit radical, shake some things up a bit. We're a bit comfortable as opposition. And so we now got to start shaking things up a bit, dropping the receipts that we have. If we know that it's wrong, just share the information. Make the Bahamian people more aware of what's going on. The time for being passive, the time for just putting pen to paper and letting the Bahamian people find for themselves. No, we got to get aggressive. We got to insert ourselves a bit more. We got to show definitely that we are serious and we got to connect with people.
We want to just take it right now back to our Corville Python, who stands by with MP-elect for St. Anne's, Adrian White.
Adrian White is joining us. He, of course, is the MP-elect for St. Anne's. Mr. White, I'm listening to Denari Roll there, who ran unsuccessfully for Pine, would say that the FNM's message fell flat in this last election. You agree?
I definitely do not agree. We had a strong turnout. We actually gained a seat. We took back Central Grand Bahama, and we also brought in MyCal. We saw what went down on election day. There was an airplane, there was a crash, there was cash.
Looking forward, what's next for this party?
We're going to continue to represent the people, those that elected the 8 members of parliament throughout the country, the archipelago. That's all the way up in Grand Bahama, all the way down to MyCal in the central New Providence. Myself, Killarney, as well as the other candidate will represent the Bahamas. In time, the Bahamian people will realize that it pays not to participate in the voting process. We're seeing some of that already. You saw the Tribune headline today. It's not the country that I know. My grandfather was actually walking these grounds as British intelligence long before independence. I don't think it's the country that Sir Lyndon Piddling fought for when he brought independence here, or even A.D. Hanna. But it's what we're dealing with now, and we'll deal with it along with the government. And then the voters will ultimately deal with it come election in 2031.
Always good talking to you. Thank you very much, Adrian White. MP-elect for St. Anne's. Anthea, let's send it back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Corvell. We're going to take a look now into the ballroom here at Government House. The ballroom, a place we've seen a lot over the past couple of days. We can see there Mark Humes taking his seat. We see the room here filling up as we await the start of these ceremonies. And again, we will see Ellsworth Johnson, Orinthia Komalafe, Dr. Trevor Johnson, and Mr. Rick Fox received their appointments of instrument to become senators here in the Bahamas. And we talk about serving and what the opposition has to do and the work it has to do. But that work does not only happen in the House of Assembly. That work also happens in the Senate as well as on the grounds. But let's talk a little bit about the Senate makeup here. These 4 people whom your party have selected, what can we expect from them in the upper chamber?
Well, I want to top them the Fantastic Four. We got a mix of experience, and then we got a newcomer, and Rick Fox, like he said, he brings his international connections down here to assist with holding the government feet to the fire. Not only that, bringing more opportunities to the country for us in the upper house. And then we have a young up-and-coming leader, Dr. Trevor Johnson, who is well-versed, a lecturer at UB, connected with the young people, has reduced the former chairman of the Bar Association's legal, has good political wit, so he's going to be leading us in the Senate. And then obviously we have Orinthia Komalafe, seasoned politician. She was the leader of a major party in the DNA when they was up and functioning. She is now an attorney at law, very well versed in policy, very smart lady. And so I think the makeup of the team is good, and I think you will definitely see them holding the government feet to the fire and calling out, standing up for what is right on behalf of the Bahamian people.
And Ms. Komalafe, the lone woman in the group, the lone woman in the group.
Yes.
I mean, I know you talk a little bit about her political prowess and how she's been able to just really rise through the ranks over the years. What's something about her that we may not know that we could look forward to?
But definitely what I realized about Orinthia is she's not afraid, so she is fearless, right? She always speaks to the issues and she presents you with the facts. And so that's what I like about her. You're going to see a fearless warrior. She's very strong, she's determined, and she's not afraid to speak. You know, she's not one that cowers or walks away from a challenge. She actually gets in the ring, she gets on dirty, and she speaks to the issues. And so definitely you're going to see a fearless warrior in Orinthia using, like I said, her policy understanding and a lawyer background to make sure everything that this government does is above board, because we're already having some challenges now, as you could see, and she already let out a piece in regards to her legal background and how she sees it in terms of the appointment of certain ministers. And so that's what we need, just accountability. And you raise the questions. If you're not sure, you ask, and that's what opposition is all about, doing it in a practical and a hands-on way, and that's what I think, like I said, she would bring to the table for the team.
And we talk a lot about the youth and their involvement, and here we see Dr. Trevor Johnson, who we interviewed earlier today, I think just 30 years old,
yes.
about to enter the upper chamber. What do you think he's going to bring to the fold?
Definitely, I think what he's going to bring to the fold is what a lot of people, I think, generally miss across the country, that when young people are given an opportunity to serve, what it is that they could do, what the capabilities are. So oftentimes they say, hey, you lack experience, or, you're not ready yet, you need to be a little bit more groomed. But opportunities present that for you as a young person to be able to show what it is that you can do. So I have high confidence in Dr. Trevor, because even when I offered myself in Pinewood, my goal was necessarily putting me aside, but to take up space as a young person to say, let my work speak for itself. Let me prove, if a young person is given the opportunity to excel, let the action speak. Let them have a chance to roll, and then you take off from there. And so I think what this is going to do is now encourage more young people too, through his representation and through me sitting here as a young person today, to inspire those younger like us who aspire to be something, or even if they don't aspire, they can look at us and be encouraged to say, get involved in this process, because the future definitely belongs to us and generations to come. So that's what I expect, confidence and strong, and again, factual representation in terms of presenting the facts that at our hand, doing it in a way that people could understand and then relate to. And so that's what I think young people generally will bring to the forefront in the Free National Movement as well.
So speaking about that youth representation, right, not just in politics, we talked earlier about the low voter turnout. How do we bridge this gap? How do we get more young people involved? How do we get more young people to care about what's happening in our country, whether they want to go in frontline politics or just to show up at the polls?
Yeah, I think the problem is, though, young people, if you talk to them, they generally just don't care for politics. Like, they don't understand
and why is
the effects. I don't think they understand the effects of the political decisions, or how our policymakers or those in charge affect our day-to-day life, right? And so I think we need to get off of our high horses and go meet them where they are. We have to sit down and engage them on levels where they could understand. And so in my case, in Pinewood, again, I go back to that. Instead of saying, okay, guys, this is what you do. Here's the right way to live. I put my basketball sneakers on. I put on my old jersey, and I went to play basketball with the fellas, right? And as we started to play games of basketball, at the games, when we taking breaks, then they more exposed and or comfortable to talk. So then I'll ask them, well, how was your day? What happened in school today?
Right.
How did you spend your afternoon?
Kind of meet them where they're at.
All right, and so they are more now comfortable and exposed to being willing to talk and engage. And through those conversations is me now making in my mind, plotting out, okay, hearing these concerns, here's how I could adjust, here's the realities that they face. And so I think you just got to meet the young people where they are, and then at the same time, you groom them, and you explain to them, listen, I know this might not make sense to you right now, but here's why you need to get involved. Here's why you need to participate. Because generally, if there's something that you like, just for example, just saying, I don't want to put on a necktie to school, or I don't want to read this book, right? You try to explain to them, like, by reading this book or putting on this necktie, you are becoming a groomed, smarter product for the future in this country. And so you help them understand that whilst you don't want to follow these rules, when you graduate now, you become
future
a man,
thinking,
right?
Yeah.
So if you get yourself in problems, these policymakers are those who put people in charge, so they make the decisions to determine the outcome of what your result is or what happens to you if you wasn't to abide by this law. So if you don't like how you're handled now, and then when you get in the world, you think it's going to be a bit much easier. These people decide what happens from you if you make a decision that you don't like or not. They're not going to sit here and talk with you like how Nari do or etc. It's not going to be this easy. And so stuff like that, meeting them where they are, having those real conversations with them is what we have to do at the ground level. Just to get them to engage and understand. So I think more awareness is needed definitely for the young people.
Definitely. We see here now our Master of Ceremonies, Jack Thompson, taking the podium as we get set to see the entrance of Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Cynthia Pratt. We expect that she will soon make her entrance here as the ballroom at Government House fills up once again, and that is because we are here to witness the presentation of instruments for the 4 opposition senators in the persons of Ellsworth Johnson, Orinthio Komolafe, Trevor Johnson, and Rick Fox. An interesting ad there. A lot of Bahamians had much to say when he first, entered frontline politics, and now we see him now about to become a senator.
Yeah. But I think Rick is really passionate about the Bahamian people, and he shared his story. A lot of people did not know or wasn't aware of some of the stuff that he did. So you had the PLP knocking him, and he obviously laid the facts on the table of how far he came from his time to now, and so it was good education for their part. And he's fearless. He really cares about what it is that he could do to add value, and then he came and he actually put in the work. He didn't just sit idly by. He came and he was doing some transformative stuff right out of the gate. He had his Power Pack action plan where he's willing to forego salaries and invest in certain things just off the cuff to show it isn't about him, it's about the people. And so he adds a lot of, like I say, international exposure and value to us. He can help us with networking and making the Bahamas better again, and to have someone, be on the world stage, a 3-time MA champion, come back home and want to help, I think that's what we need. And we welcome that, obviously, in the Free National Movement.
We are about to see the leader of the official opposition, Michael C. Pintard, enter, and earlier this morning he received his instruments of appointment as His Majesty's loyal opposition, the leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition. And in his remarks earlier this morning, he really spoke to the work, like you said earlier, the work that the opposition has to do. The fact that, not dismayed, we will take our lickings, but, we still have work to do. We still have a place in this democracy here in the Bahamas. Have you got a chance to sit with him since last week?
Yeah, well, we spoke over the phone. We didn't ever sit down, but we did have a good telephone conversation, encouraging one another. And that's what I like about the leader. You could reach out to him, he'll answer, and he's not a fan of not taking constructive criticism. He lets you put it on him, he listens, he take what you have to say, and that's what you need from a leader, someone who could listen, acknowledge what it is, where they felt that they might fell down, and he would ask you what you think I could have done better, where did we fall down, put it on me, let me know. And so he welcomes constructive criticism, and that's something to be appreciated for him. But we did have a good conversation, and like you say, the work continues. We're down, but definitely not out. And I want the Bahamian people to understand, yes, the FNM has lost the general election, but there's this notion that you can't question anything now because, oh, you just lost an election. The election is over, the government is now in, and we have a... Oh, sorry.
1 second, and there we see now Michael Pintard making his entrance here at the ballroom at Government House as we get ready to start today's ceremony. And for you and for him, he, you know, veteran politician at this point, right? You newcomer to the game.
Yeah.
What have you learned? What insights have you gained from just being in his space over the past several months?
Well, what I know is what I learned from Pintard is people will talk no matter what, right? He's a 3-time elected member of parliament, so obviously there's something he's doing, especially in Marco City, for them to entrust him each time. And each time he won by more, right? So obviously he's doing something enough that makes people say, I believe in him down there in Marco City. And so one of the things I realized is what I learned from him is you can't mind the noise in the market. You have to stick to what it is that you are good at, stick to what it is that makes you successful. But most importantly, focus on the real issues that matter about the Bahamian people. And I think that's a fundamental issue that I get from him. He's not fancy, don't get caught up in too much of the fluff. If you talk to him and you get him one-on-one, he's really focused on how do we better the lives of the Bahamian people. And for me, that's where my passion is. I don't care about who might say this or who might do that. The reality is, or the way you feel about Nari, or the personalities that you may have towards him, how does that change the reality of what Bahamian people face? And so for me, let's focus on the details. Let's focus on issues that really matter, and that is dealing with the Bahamian people.
And we see here the entrance of Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Cynthia Pratt, Governor General of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, as we get ready to start the presentation of instruments for His Majesty's loyal opposition senators.
For the national anthem of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, March On, Bahamaland, composed by Timothy Gibson. The national anthem will be led by Inspector Corey Hill of the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
Lift up your head to the rising sun, Bahamaland. March on to glory, your bright banners waving high. See how the world marks the manner of your bearing, pledge to excel through love and unity, pressing onward, march together to a common lofty goal, steady sunward, though the weather hide the wine and treasure show. Lift up your head to the rising sun, Bahamaland. Tell the road you've trod leads into your God. March on, Bahamaland.
Kindly remain standing. Kindly remain standing as the Reverend Father Ethan Ferguson, the Holy Cross Church, lead us in the word of prayer. Father Ferguson.
We bow our heads as we pray. Holy and sovereign God, we thank you for your blessing upon us this day. Thank you for democracy. Thank you for our beloved country, the Bahamas. We pray your blessing upon all those in positions of public trust and authority, your blessing upon these new appointments, your blessing upon our entire nation. Be with us in this ceremony. May all that is said and done bring glory and honor to your name. This we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much, Father. Kindly be seated. Excellency, it is my singular honor and pleasure to welcome on this momentous occasion, that being the presentation of instruments to our opposition senators, a special welcome on your behalf. Your Excellency, I should like to once again recognize the presence of the leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition, the Honorable Michael Clifford Pentard. Sir, we're welcome. Welcome. Please welcome once again. I should like to acknowledge the presence of the elected members of Parliament for the Free National Movement who are with us on the opposition side. Please, we welcome you here to Government House. It is my pleasure to welcome the executives of the Free National Movement gathered here this afternoon. Let us give the executive members a round of applause, please. I should like to take this opportunity to give a special welcome to those who travel from our family of islands or beyond the boundaries of the Bahamas to be here. Let's give, and there are persons who are here at Government House for the first time. At our receptions, I've been told this is my first time to Government House. And so those who, recognizing that this is the first time, let's give them a round of applause. First time here at Government House. And last but in no means least, we recognize the family members. I want to get to the senators last, but let's recognize the family members, because without the family, you know what happened. So we recognize your support base and your family members. Please give the family members a round of applause. Excellency, we are gathered here today in fulfillment of the Constitution of the Bahamas to witness the presentation of instruments to 4 senators who will represent His Majesty's opposition in the upper house. Should it please Your Excellency, at this time, I would like to proceed with the presentation of the senators to receive their instrument of appointment. As I said earlier today, senators are not required to take an oath. The oath will be taken in the Senate. But what we will do today is to present to senators designate their instruments of appointment. And so, Your Excellency, it is my pleasure to present the honorable senators to you. Your Excellency, I beg leave to present to you Senator Designate the Honorable Ellsworth Johnson. We invite the leader to pose for your photos, please. You're good? Please, madam. Yes? Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to Senator the Honorable Ellsworth Johnson. Your Excellency, it is my pleasure to present to you Senator-designate the Honorable Arinthia Komalafi. Photo, please, with the leader of the party. Invite Mr. Komalafi, please. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator-designate, Senator the Honorable Arinthia Komalafi. Please give her another round of applause. Having just received her instrument of appointment, you are aware, as I said earlier, that the oath will be taken in the Senate and the signing will be in the Senate itself. It is my pleasure, Your Excellency, to invite Senator-designate the Honorable Dr. Trevor Johnson to come forward and to take the oath. Mr. Leader. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator-designate Senator the Honorable Dr. Trevor Johnson, please. Your Excellency, it is my pleasure to present at this time Senator-designate the Honorable Rick Fox. Mr. Fox. Mr. Leader, please. Mr. Leader. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to all of our newly appointed senators. The members, or part of the members, of the Royal Bahamas Police Force Band will now render an item. Please welcome the band.
And for newly appointed senators, you saw they're just receiving their instruments of appointment here today at Government House. Senator Ellsworth Johnson, Senator Arinthia Komalafe, Senator Dr. Trevor Johnson, and Senator Rick Fox. Your thoughts, Tenari?
Well, just a hearty congratulations to all of our senators. I'm excited for each and every one of them, and I'm just looking forward and excited to the work that they have ahead. Like I said earlier in the forecast, we got a lot of work to do. The headlines already rolling in. I call it Nation for Sale Part 2, forgive me, but I had to throw out their Nation for Sale Part 2. We living in the gangster's paradise, but in all seriousness, their job is a real serious one. There are plenty chiefs, no Indian, and so we have to work hard in making sure the Bahamian people are well aware and the information needed we hold this government in account for, because that's what they expect from the opposition, and I expect nothing less from them as well.
In addition to the 4 here today, next week, your 8 members of Parliament elect will head to the opening of Parliament, where they will take their oath. They will be sworn in there to make up your complement. What can we expect from the opposition in both chambers of Parliament heading into this next administration?
Well, definitely, I think you're going to see the heat turn up. I think it's going to be more rigorous. It's going to be more intentional, more deliberate. I think you're going to see a more uniform approach in how we hold this government accountable. I think, especially coming off the loss, all of our members, from the top to the bottom, they are excited to get to work. And even outside of those elected in the House, you have the internal working of the parties now. Everybody's talking, everybody's discussing how do we chart the way forward. And so I think you're going to see a renewed sense of F&M rebuilding. Like I said, we have to look ourselves in the mirror. We know we made some mistakes. We know we have a lot of work to do. We know we had some issues, and those issues must be resolved. As you can see, the Bahamian people, they're not coming to vote. So we need to find a way to get them out to vote. We need to find a way for them to believe again.
I just want to toss it now to our Corvell Piper, who stands by with Carlisle Bethel, someone we've seen a lot during the campaign trail. Corvell.
And we have with us Carlisle Bethel. What a day to be here. Some folks that you came up the ranks with today, huh?
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to celebrate the traditions of a vibrant democracy here in the Bahamas. And it's a pleasure to do so with all of the people who have sacrificed daily and have worked daily to get us to this point. I'm looking forward to the future of both, not just the Free National Movement, but the Bahamas.
You're a role model for a lot of young people, and young people sometimes get discouraged by not winning the first go at it. Why should they not feel dismayed today?
Well, for anyone that has competed in anything, we know that there's a winner and there's a loser. But it is the spirit of competition and the spirit of presenting differing ideas and different ways of doing things that brings about this vibrant democracy that we have, that we all benefit from. Because if you know, there was a time when an 18-year-old couldn't vote. There's a time when women couldn't vote. And so we celebrate the advances and the progress that we have experienced in this country. But that only comes through participating in the democratic process.
Going forward, what do you see your role with the party being?
I'm here to serve in whatever capacity that I can to help the party. I believe that the Free National Movement has a vision for this country where each and every Bahamian, no matter where they're from, can achieve prosperity and can move up in life and achieve their goals by providing an economic environment where if they apply themselves, the system does not hold them down or hold them back, but instead gives them the opportunity to achieve their dreams. And so I'm happy and I'm excited to work with the party, our parliamentary team, in whichever capacity I can to help us realize that goal.
All right, Carlisle Bethel, this was the guy who was lighting it up on stage during those F&M rallies, you may recall. Good to see you. Take care. All right, back to you, Anthea.
Thank you so much for that. I love the question about being a young person and young people just wanting to always win.
Yeah.
We know that you lost your race there in Pinewood. What keeps you going and what keeps you coming back to the F&M?
Yeah, so for me, like Carla would say, it's just that dream, that vision of what you know the Bahamas could be. And I had a lot of people giving me, congratulatory remarks and excellent job for
and you
first
deserve
time.
it.
Like, now you did awesome. You did amazing. You got almost 1,000 votes and yada, yada, yada. But honestly, for me, it was like, I appreciate it and I thank everybody. But generally, like you say, young people like to win. I set out to win, not just to be good enough or almost there. I set out to win. And so we set high standards for ourselves as young people because we believe that we can achieve it. But ultimately, like I said, outside of myself, right, I have a son who is 13 years. In the next 5 years, he'll be voting.
Wow.
This is a country that I have to set up for him, and I want him not to have to endure or go through some of the things that I went through. And so that is my passion. That is what keeps me going on, doing it for him and his future, because they are what truly matters. So outside of me, generally, it's about him, and definitely I'm going to continue to chart that course because I believe I'm capable, and I'm going to get it done.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And definitely with attitudes like that, people usually win. Eventually, yes.
Definitely.
And we are preparing now to hear from the Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Michael C. Pintard, who will bring closing remarks here today at this presentation of instrument ceremony. And we can see now the front row, some of our new senators, Ellsworth Johnson, Orinthia Komalafe, Rick Fox, here in the front row, and we can see the room is jam-packed with supporters and friends and family who are here to witness this very historic occasion. And in just a few moments, we will soon hear, we're going to toss it now to the inside where Leader of the Opposition, Michael C. Pintard, will bring closing remarks.
City constituency, Leader of His Majesty's Loyal Opposition, the Honorable Michael Clifton Pintard. Please welcome.
Please be seated. Your Excellency, colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on this special occasion. Your Excellency, I thank you for assenting to the appointment of Mr. Ellsworth Johnson, Mrs. Orinthia Komalafe, Mr. Rick Fox, and Dr. Trevor Johnson to the Honorable Senate. Fortunately, or unfortunately, there was no shortage of qualified men and women to consider for these appointments. I fully expect to have had more than 4 appointments to make, but Her Excellency, the results of the election dictated otherwise and denied us of this wonderful privilege we were looking forward to. I thank these individuals for accepting their appointments. I also thank their families, many of whom granted permission for their loved ones to begin this new journey. Mr. Ellsworth Johnson previously served as member of the House of Assembly between 2017 and 2021. He was initially appointed as Minister of State for Legal Affairs in the Office of the Attorney General. He was subsequently appointed as Minister of Financial Services, Trade and Industry and Immigration. An attorney by profession, he dedicates himself to the Bahamas beyond his government role. Good Cat Island man. He is a past president of the Bahamas Bar Association, and he has made significant contributions to the legal profession. He is the principal partner at Johnson and Associates. Mr. Johnson's global outlook is reflected in his memberships with the International Bar Association and Amnesty International. Mr. Johnson will be joined by one of the 13 outstanding Bahamian women who recently contested the election under the F&M banner. Mrs. Arinthia Komalafi is a Bahamian attorney, financial services professional, and a civic leader with over 20 years of experience across law, banking, public policy, and corporate governance. Known for thoughtful leadership and commitment to national development, she combines professional excellence with a genuine passion for people and progress. Mrs. Komalafi was the first female managing director of the Bahamas Development Bank, where she led major restructuring efforts. She's also served as a consultant at the Ministry of Finance and held key positions within the Securities Commission of the Bahamas. Beyond her professional career, she co-founded the Komalafi Foundation to support Bahamian youth. One of our senators represents a category of Bahamians who have strong options to live and work overseas, but have instead chosen to return home to help develop his country. Mr. Rick Fox is a global entrepreneur, former professional athlete, business executive, and public servant. He has spent more than 3 decades representing the Bahamas on the world stage. Mr. Fox is a climate technologist, founder, and a 3-time NBA champion with the Los Angeles Lakers. Please conduct yourself appropriately. He also has a distinguished career as a producer and actor in television and in entertainment. His service to the Bahamas predates his involvement in political life. For over 30 years, he sought to elevate the Bahamas through global representation in business, sports, culture, and entertainment. As an ambassador at large, he represented the Bahamas internationally. Following Hurricane Dorian, he founded the Bahamas Relief Foundation, coordinating emergency relief efforts and helping with the reconstruction of the Sherlin Boodle Secondary School in Abaco. And finally, I take the challenge, and again, it is an honor, of elevating one of the future leaders of our country to national life in a serious way. He, like a number of very talented young people recommended, is someone who has a passion for the country. Hailing from Grand Bahama, Dr. Trevor Johnson is one of several young persons recommended to join our caucus. He's a young scholar and sustainable development expert. Dr. Johnson holds a Bachelor of Education in Biology and a Master of Science in Environmental Management, with a focus on climate change, with distinction from the University of the West Indies. He has a PhD in Disaster Management from North Dakota State University. He taught in the Bahamian public school system for 3 years. Dr. Johnson was lauded as a dynamic, firm, and exceptional educator. His professional experience includes serving as advisor in the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness, Management, and Reconstruction. He has also worked as a disaster management and sustainable development consultant with the Inter-American Development Bank and the Caribbean Development Bank. He served as a senior disaster management specialist for the Pacific Disaster Center. His love for his country and national development led him to join the University of the Bahamas as an assistant professor in disaster management. Together, our senators possess a wide range of expertise in various professional and educational fields. They have served our Bahamas in the promotion of our common good. They have a keen understanding of policy and clear ideas about the types of legislation our country can use more of. They are eminently qualified to promote the policies of the Free National Movement. Your Excellency, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the members of Parliament-elect and this formidable group of senators will expand the front line of the Free National Movement. And they will serve alongside our officers who have taken the fight over the last 4.5 years to the government. Our front line includes our Deputy Leader, Shannon Dawn Cartwright, our Chairman, Dr. Dwayne Sands, our Secretary General, Safet Roll, and so many officers who are here today and others of our team who are watching from home. Together with our freedom fighters, we will serve the people we love with distinction. Your Excellency, I am confident that each of them will serve with honesty, competence, compassion, humility, and care for our people who deserve all that is coming to them. This week, we will announce the shadow cabinet who will advise our policymakers and party spokespersons on the legislation, policies, and programs. They will hold ministers of the government accountable for the portfolios they have been assigned. In our recent election manifesto 2026, our party offered the Bahamian people a far-reaching, costed, and comprehensive vision of the country, because that's what our people deserve. We will continue to offer these ideas to the Bahamian people and to the government of the day for sincere consideration. Politics, as you know, is an essential vocation in the life of this country. Senators, as you may know already, it is not an easy road. In fact, it's brutal. But those who are on the front line of national life know that the true reward is in the upliftment of our people. And so, again, let me congratulate you. And to say generally, it is easy for all to criticize what is wrong. The more noble task is to offer ideas and initiatives to fix or improve what is wrong or broken. And that's why we're here today. And so, Your Excellency, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I commend these senators to the Bahamian people. I have every confidence they will serve with integrity and fortitude. May God bless our Bahamas. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate your remarks. Thank you, sir. I should like to take this opportunity to advance a special thanks to Her Excellency the Governor General for all of her hard work and ensuring that this ceremony is a success. Please give Her Excellency a round of applause. I'd like to thank Mr. Corey Hill for the national anthem and Reverend Father Ethan Ferguson of Holy Cross for the invocation. Please let us show our gratitude. I'd like to thank Commissioner of Police Shanta Knowles and the members of the band. Thank you so very much, Commissioner. Deputy Commodore, thank you for being with us this afternoon, sir. We appreciate that. I should like to give a round of applause to the staff at Government House. They've been working around the clock. The parking lot attendants, thank you very much. And I should like to thank media. We've had excellent coverage. And let's give a round of applause to those who are in the media area. Finally, I should like to thank Mr. Stephen Collins and the staff at Government Printing. They've been working to produce the program as we go along, and I think we owe them a debt of gratitude. Finally, and I think this is going to get the largest and the biggest round of applause. Thank you for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause. I should like to invite all of the newly appointed senators to once again come for a group photo with Her Excellency and the leader of, thank you. Please. And thereafter the spouses for a group photo, and that would bring our session this afternoon to a close. Good. Can we have the spouses to join in for a group photo, please? Thank you. I'd like to invite you, our guests, to join Her Excellency and the Honorable Michael Pintard for light refreshments following this ceremony. May I invite you to stand, please, for the departure of Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Cynthia A. Pratt. Followed by...
And that concludes the ceremony here today, where the 4 opposition senators were presented with their instrument of appointment to work and serve in the upper chamber. Just recapping here what the leader of the opposition said, that there's no shortage of professionals that he could have chosen from his team. Also, thanking his senators for agreeing to serve, and also lauding and really congratulating and appreciating their work elsewhere. So we talk about the 3-time NBA champion who's on his team. You talk about the past president of the Bahamas Bar Association, among them a first female managing director of the Bahamas Development Bank, as well as a disaster risk management expert, a PhD.
Yes, very smart.
Actually, yes, he says that, they form a formidable group of senators who will expand the FNM's front line, noting that, he's confident that they will serve with honesty and with care to the Bahamian people. Also saying that he will announce who the shadow cabinet ministers will be real soon, those people who will hold the ministers of the government to account. And Mr. Pintard there saying and ending saying this is not an easy road. Nope. Acknowledging, what his supporters, what his party members must be feeling and must be going through, and just trying to bring some level of relief and comfort. What did you think about your leader's speech there?
Well, his remarks said it all. We have a lot of work that's ahead of us to do. I want the Bahamian people to understand something. This is going to be accountable. government, or you're going to see the opposition move for transparency and accountability like never yet before, simply for the mere fact because you can see this is the biggest cabinet in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So your opposition has a lot of work to do. And like the leader said, it's not an easy road. The journey is not going to be easy, but we're not going to just sit here and allow the PLP to think that, oh, this is just their country because they're the government. We're not just going to allow their supporters to say that, oh, we can't say nothing because we lost the election. And so we're going to hold them accountable. That's what opposition does. We're going to ask the necessary questions, and we're going to do what it takes needed to keep the Bahamian people informed.
And our Corbell Pyfrom stands by now with MP-elect for East Grand Bahama, Crazy Thompson.
That is right, Anthea. We do have Mr. Thompson here with us. And, you know, the party, I guess, tell us, where is the F&M right now?
Well, obviously we suffered a defeat, a huge defeat. We are at a stage where we must unify. I think it is essential that we have to stay together. It is also essential that we have to do some investigation as to why we lost. We have to go back to the people to understand why we lost and to reconnect back with the people. The PLP lost a number of votes. We lost a number of votes. So we have to understand why. So right now it's about investigating what had taken place, rebuilding, rebranding, and going back to the people.
And let me bring J. Leo Ferguson. He is the MP-elect for Michael into this discussion as well. What does it mean to you, Mr. Ferguson, to be joining the F&M's parliamentary caucus at this particular time?
Well, for me, it was very important for me to represent the legacy of my father. 24 years ago, he ran, lost by 4 votes. This time, I left no doubt. And joining this caucus along with my partner here, Mr. Crazy Thompson, we come to represent the Bahamian people because even though we only got 8 seats, we still have a responsibility to the Bahamian people to represent them and make sure that we keep the PLP's feet to the fire, that we give them the best opportunities to have the Bahamian dream. So that's what it's all about for us right now.
To you both, what does the way forward look like?
Well, the way forward really is about assessing where we are now. It's about going back to the people to understand why we need to reconnect with them. But it's about rebuilding, it's about refocusing, about retraining, and about going back to the people to rebuild and to refocus what we're doing. So that's what it's about now.
Last word to you.
Well, all I can say to the Bahamian people, with the 8 that you got, you have a good team, and we will show you what we're built for, because the Bahamian people are our priority. So election 2031, look out.
Thank you both. There you have it. Back to you, Anthea.
Thank you so much for that, Corbell. They echoed a lot of what we've been saying here, right? How the party needs to unify and come together. Is that going to be your central message moving forward for the F&M?
Well, definitely. You know, the Bahamian people is looking forward to a unified opposition. That was something that we didn't display in the last election. And so definitely moving forward, we're going to show them, not only say we're going to definitely show and display that from top down, all around, let them feel and believe in us again. Once they see that we are organized, once they see that we are together, they will start to believe in us once again. So all this hope is not lost. The reality of it is, like Kwesi would have said, the PLP lost some votes as well. They actually got less votes this election, but were still successful. So we definitely have some work to do. It's not the end. Like, we can never make a bounce back. But it starts with our rebranding, refocusing, ensuring we pay attention to what it is that our people say to us, humbling ourselves, getting to go back to the people, hearing those concerns, addressing those concerns, and then moving forward. And so definitely you're going to see a different type of opposition, a more unified and relentless opposition on behalf of the Bahamian people, because as we can see with this current government now, the dark clouds have already started, and we need the freedom from over our head and make sure the Bahamian people can live as comfortable as possible.
Thank you so much for that, Denari. As you can see, the crowds now filing out of the ballroom here at Government House as we bring this ceremony to a close. 4 newly appointed senators on the opposition side: Ellsworth Johnson, Senator Ellsworth Johnson, Senator Arinthia Komalafe, Senator Dr. Trevor Johnson, and Senator Rick Fox. Thank you so much for being with us today, Denari.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Of course. We'll be right back here tomorrow at 2:45 p.m. as we witness the swearing in or the instrument of appointment being presented to our parliamentary secretaries. Join us on the ZNS Network at 2:45 p.m. tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we will bring you live coverage of the opening of Parliament. I'm Anthea Ferguson. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great one, Bahamas.
Linden-Binling International Airport. I'm Corval Pyfrom. This is ZNS.
Hello, I'm Julian Reed, and welcome to the Bahamas Naturally Season 2. We have a lot of new and exciting shows for you over the next 12 months, but we're kicking things off here in Andros as we observe Coastal Awareness Month. And speaking about coastal awareness, just take a look at this. Coming up in this month's edition, we take a look at a bird whose very existence depends on the Bahamian coastal system. Then we're going to Nassau, where the Saunders Beach issue that's caused a lot of controversy is going to get our attention. And after that, Bonefish Pond National Park opens to the public. It's all coming up in the Bahamas Naturally right after this.
That's what I'm talking about.
In a world where our health defines our future and the Caribbean stands on the front lines of climate change, rising NCDs and global challenges, knowledge becomes our greatest defense. Caribbean Medical TV is your guide on the journey to wellness and insight, featuring our region's own doctors, nurses, climate specialists and medical institutions. From physical well-being to the emotional and mental balance we all deserve. Caribbean Medical TV empowers you because building a healthier future isn't just a regional goal, it's a global responsibility. In the Caribbean, vitality isn't just a goal, it's a way of living. Connect with the region through knowledge, hope, and the power of Caribbean resilience on Caribbean Medical TV, where awareness becomes power. Join the conversation, join the movement. Be viewing Season 4 of Caribbean Medical TV right here on this station.
We play just like your kids. We text just like your kids. We learn. We even cook. We take selfies. We have hobbies. And we love sports. In every way, we are just like everyone else and enjoy the same things and live our lives every day, just like you do. So if you happen to meet us, treat us just like everyone else. Because at the end of the day, we're just like you. Living life with Down syndrome is simply living. To learn more about Down syndrome, call 727-2105. This message is brought to you by the Grand Bahama Down Syndrome Society.
Gymnastics requires discipline, dedication, and a strong sense of balance, just like doing good in our community. In gymnastics, every move counts. Every step, every leap, every turn. Just like in our communities, where every action, every act of kindness, every effort to help makes a difference. I am the creator of Posh Girl Symposium. Posh is a symposium for 5th and 6th graders at Queens College where they are encouraged to be more passionate, optimistic, strong, and healthy, and stamp out hunger. We collect unused quality stamps to feed the hungry. Some people don't have the basic necessity of food, so I wanted to be able to help. Be the balance, the strength, and the grace your community needs. Together, we can achieve greatness. Crime-free looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
It's the largest island in the Bahamas,
And with its size come amazing coastlines like this one at Kamalami Key. But believe it or not, a few years ago, this pristine strip of beach looked a lot like this. So how did it go through such a transformation? Brian Hugh, proprietor of Kamalami Key, explains.
We started by cutting down all the casuarina trees with, by hand chainsaws, so as not to disturb the whole environment too much. And then over the years, we've been, keeping them down by cutting out the seedlings, so that the bay lavender and the sea oats and other native varieties can, reproduce and re-establish themselves.
Hugh says once a year they clean out the new casuarina seedlings, which catch very quickly and aggressively destroy any native vegetation in their path. But the casuarina does have at least one good use.
We've been using some of the casuarina to make charcoal. It's very good, and even if it's not even in charcoal, once it dries, it barbecues really good. So if you don't even go through the process of converting it to charcoal, you can use it for barbecuing, and we do a lot of cooking with it, and it has a great flavor.
Wide, beautiful beaches are important, and not just for us to soak up the sun. Piping plovers, an endangered North American bird species that is a frequent traveler to the Bahamas, needs the beach. Pudenza Moore is coordinator of the Bahamas National Trust's Important Bird Areas Monitoring and Surveying Program.
With the casuarinas utilizing the beach, they narrow the beach. When they're uprooted by the tidal and storms, then they cause a massive erosion. And the piping plovers require wide beach because they roost in the rock, which is the dry or wet seaweed, at the high water line. They don't roost near the vegetation because self-preservation, predators. So that's why a wider beach is necessary for them, that it's wide enough for them to roost in the high water line and still be far enough away from the vegetation.
The casuarina isn't the only invasive species that's not good for our beaches, though. Scavola is equally as threatening. A bit further along the coast at Cargill Creek, a wonderful sight, a great blue heron. We came across a group of Wilson plovers, and then the piping plovers.
Oh, so excited. I wasn't sure we were going to find any because some of the ones that have been banded in the Bahamas last month already reported in Florida and South Carolina, so I thought maybe we wouldn't see any, but we found 13 right at South Cargill Creek, and we've got 8 Wilson plovers, and we've got a black belly, all in this one little area. This area is one of the areas that the researchers found 45 roosting at high tide. And the advantage of this is because the casuarinas has been removed, which widened the beach, and just made it a perfect roosting place for them. Now, the plovers, they don't feed based on sunlight or they feed based on low tide. They feed at low tide, high tide, whatever time of day it is, they will be roosting. And that is where they need the beach to be wide. But in this case, at this point today, we found them roosting in the rocky shoreline. Maybe they were disturbed earlier. I don't know. And out of the 13, we found 2 that were the banded birds. We spotted them. We can only spot them by the black flag on the top left leg. But that's still great news.
Near Forfar Field Station in Blanket Sound, we found even more. In January and February of this year, researchers banded 57 piping plovers. In 2011, they will return to carry out the piping plovers census. Why is it so important that we find these in the Bahamas, really? Why should anyone care?
This species is endangered. It's estimated there are only about 8,000 plovers left. There are 3 flocks, the Great Plains, the Great Lakes, and the Atlantic coast. The important purpose behind banding these is that we're losing, I guess we are, because they spend 8 months of the year here approximately. We are losing so many of them on the wintering ground. The difference between the counts at nesting and their counts, when they return, and they're trying to figure out why. What is happening? What is happening in the wintering grounds why we're losing them? So by banding them here, we will learn where they came from, and the persons at where they nest will learn where they've been.
What kind of benefits could there be for the Bahamas from this, for people who may not get it? How does the Bahamas benefit from it?
It ups us in research. The researchers, they find these birds here. Then they're the avid birders who will go. I mean, the avid birders who are here for the winter or who visit here in the winter. Knowing the plovers are here, I mean, that will create more interest, which of course benefits ecotourism. And it just puts us higher on the scale of environment, birding, all that, ecotourism, all that good stuff. They're a target bird, I mean, there's approximately 8,000 of them left in the world. And we're losing them on the wintering grounds. Habitat destruction, predators, human disturbance. So they are highly prized. And having found so many over here really puts us high on the scale for the plovers' habitat.
Well, in 2011, we'll see if the number of piping plovers visiting the Bahamas increases. Now we know that casuarinas and invasive scavola are not